So there could be a really big crypto event happening in regards to Cardano ADA. There's a lot to dig into and a very exciting market sector that could just be about to be breached by Cardano. If you enjoy this sort of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's waste no time. Let's go. So we're going to start here on Coin Market Cap before we get into all the really exciting Cardano news. Stay tuned until the very end because I am going to talk about the current market scenario as well and give you a bit of an overview of what to expect. So we've got the total market cap of crypto globally down 0.88% at the time of recording, and it sits at $3.88 trillion. With Bitcoin at 112,764.80, down 0.20% in the past 24 hours. Cardano, though, is at 88 cent 13, down 0.67% at the time of recording for the last 24 hours. And look, it might feel boring in the crypto market right now, and maybe that is how you feel, but these boring times, and I talk about bear markets and stuff like that, these are the times that really do generate potentially the biggest winners in the space. If you can be around the market when it's at its most boring stage and you can sit there quite comfortably, not letting your emotions get to you, then I think those are the people that are going to be part of that very small successful percentage of people when it comes to investing in crypto. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Treat this purely as entertainment purposes only. Go away, do your own research, and never invest more than you're willing to lose, because you do risk losing all your money if you invest in crypto or anything else for that matter. And nothing is guaranteed, and any price action that I talk about are just purely examples. So yeah, let's get into it. We've got Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson slams US healthcare, pledging $200 million to a new model. So I've talked about healthcare being this monstrous sector that is coming to crypto, right? This is something I mentioned many years ago, and I did talk about the privacy layer. Midnight is coming to Cardano. I've been talking about this for years. I was there the day in Edinburgh where Charles Hoskinson actually presented Midnight to the world. And I did have to double take the, looking at Charles, because this is something I've been talking about for probably about a year at that point, and saying that it was the missing layer to bring in mainstream adoption. And I did talk about healthcare or the health sector being one of those areas that once we have that compliant privacy layer, we could go after when it comes to the terms of blockchain. So let's have a look at what Charles has said here. Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, has slammed the US health system, or the healthcare system. It's pretty much as bad as the UK, I would say, at the moment, describing it as fucked in his words. And it's just there to make profit, is basically what he's saying, at the expense of patient outcomes. And I think that's very true. I think the UK's got something similar, but very different at the same time. It's all about the fact that it's free to pretty much anybody that comes in illegally right now to the UK, and the people that are paying in, second-class citizens in the UK. I don't want to get into the politics aspect of it, but if you're in the UK, you're cooked, at least in my opinion. Hoskinson is working to create an alternative system, ploughing $200 million, which in Australia is 303 million. I'm not sure why they've put that in there. I don't know how many Australian people read crypto news. Maybe it's their biggest audience. I don't know, but 200 million USD. Of his own money into healthcare centers in Wyoming that will leverage AI and blockchain tech. Once fully developed, Hoskinson said he'd make the tech stack open source, allowing other healthcare centers to implement similar systems. So yeah, I think this is really good. I mean, I'm not sure a lot of people know Charles Hoskinson's family background. I believe that they are in the healthcare sector, so maybe there's a really deep understanding of the problems within the healthcare system over in the US, potentially. But I think that this sector is going to be huge, healthcare. I think Cardano are really positioning themselves very, very well. And ultimately, I think that, investors are going to reap the rewards of all of this. And, it might be slower in its development, Cardano that is, but it's methodically well thought out. And that could lead to what Charles is saying here, which is Ethereum could disappear in 15 years. And again, it's just really interesting. The Cardano founder, Charles Hoskinson, shared his perspective on the past, present, and future of crypto in a recent interview, offering candid remarks about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and his own journey in the industry. He explained the interest in economics and technology started young, but accelerated after the Ron Paul campaign in 2007, which introduced him to the concept of sound money. Although he first come across Bitcoin in 2010, he admitted he didn't take it seriously until key events such as Silk Road Rise, its survival after founder Ross' arrest, and the 2013 Cyprus banking crisis, if I can get my words out, demonstrated its resilience. These moments pushed him to become what he calls a professional Bitcoiner. So again, just really interesting, right? Obviously, he was one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He exited the company, and he started Cardano. And again, I think that Ethereum it might not disappear in 15 years. Maybe 20, maybe 25, but it will definitely be surpassed by better technology, unless they have that will to keep improving and keep that first mover advantage. And I don't know whether they will. And I want to get into this. I want to get into motivation. I want to talk about what I see in the industry, right? I think the crypto industry is full of really bad actors. Not everybody, but money changes individuals. You can have the best research team in the world. You could be the best researcher yourself in the entire world. But if somebody's never had exposure to large amounts of capital, then all of a sudden they've got access to it, unless they're surrounded by really good people and they don't let everything get to them, right? Then there is a chance that they do something that they've never done in the past. So, I'm seeing lots of really toxic people in this space, and what I would say is it ruins it, right? There's going to be a few very, very successful projects. Maybe the winner is not even live yet, and I've said this a few times. There's a lot of really exciting, innovative projects out there. But there's still a long way to go, right? And at least that's my views, my opinions. You can let me know your views and opinions in the comments below. But we've got Cardano surpasses Bitcoin and Ethereum in 1 year performance. It's like I start talking about this stuff and then others start just listing all of this stuff in their X posts as if they came up with it. It's interesting stuff. Then we got 0.84 cent barrier crashed. Expert says Cardano ADA could just be getting started. Pretty sure just from the article I can tell who this is from. Yeah, it's from Ali. Again, we're expecting bullish moves to the upside. Another popular crypto analyst, Lark Davis, also pointed out in his latest tweet that ADA has just broken out of the bull peanut, a pattern that often indicates further price surge. He noted that the last time ADA bypassed this setup, it rose 44% within weeks. So again, just really interesting stuff. Again, people still talking about the target 92 cent, and then we're going to $1.30, $1.60, and so on. Again, just really interesting price action that people are forecasting. Cardano ADA gains 8.7% monthly as the market cap exceeds 30 billion. So again, just talking about the money flowing into Cardano ADA. And I did want to talk about this and the fact that the market is potentially boring right now. I've seen this a few times. Bitcoin is getting boring. That could open more doors for crypto assets on Wall Street. And I thought this was a really interesting take, right? Because I've actually been talking with quite a few crypto exchanges recently, trying to get an understanding of what's going on in the market, what are they seeing in the data, and some have opened up, and been very generous with the input that they've given me, and a lot of people have pointed out from these exchanges that Bitcoin's boring right now. And I saw this article. I saw this article. I went searching. I wanted to see what's the sentiment, right? And it did get me thinking, like, if money's not really flowing in or flowing out of Bitcoin as such, right? It's pretty stagnant. It's sort of around the 110, 113 between those two numbers. Then, like, how do you get people in? How do you bring that money in? And that would be other spot ETFs for other altcoins, which I've been talking about for a long time. So again, I think this is all really positive stuff if you're an altcoin holder. I mean, Cardano ADA has already outperformed Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, just to list a few, over the last year, over the last 12 months. It's outperformed all of those crypto projects. And yeah, look, who would have told you that this is probably one of the better assets to hold? Well, I'm sat right here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.